Hello, my name is John Schneider. When I was a kid, I used to visit my Grandma Vi in the Jersey BAYSHORE area, and I'd take 8mm movies of my family and their friends. In fact, I was the family filmmaker. Today I live here, but traded my film camera for video, and recently shot this tugboat in the Shrewsbury River. Welcome to Jersey BAYSHORE country. This is where you'll find Raritan Bay, the Atlantic Ocean, as well as Sandy Hook Bay. Where is the Jersey BAYSHORE? Let's get oriented by starting with the big picture. It's somewhere in here, part of the universe, and definitely part of our world. But it's like no place I've ever experienced. And as soon as we land, I'll show you around. It's one of the nicest towns in the New Jersey BAYSHORE, about an hour away from New York City, and conveniently located just off exit 117 of the Garden State Parkway. It's Keyport, proclaimed by many as the pearl of the Jersey BAYSHORE. It's a beautiful town, with the historic downtown section sitting next to one of the best waterfront views in the area, the Raritan Bay, where boating, fishing, and activities on the beach are a way of life. And the sunsets on the water? Well, just make sure you bring your camera when you stroll along the Bayfront Promenade. And bring your fishing pole, too, to try out our public fishing pier to see if you can catch one of the many varieties of fish which make the bay their home. You can also go crabbing by one of the bridges. Crabs and the clams in our area are delicious. And if you're serious about fishing, get on board one of the many charter boats in the area, some of which will take you right out to the Atlantic Ocean. There are also a couple of marinas and a ramp to launch your boat. And be sure to stop by the Keyport Yacht Club to see what's going on. Would you rather fish for a good bargain? Well, then stroll down the avenue and visit some of the many shops, including a few stores with antiques within some very old buildings. Do you want to get a little more serious about shopping? Then take off to one of the many shopping centers and malls, which are all less than 10 minutes away. There are also movie theaters and bowling alleys just moments away if that's what you like to do. Or if you happen to be in town on Thursdays, then you're in luck, because every Thursday during the warmer months, the shops are open later, there are outdoor concerts, there's a farmer's market, and there are ghost tours. And when you get hungry, there are plenty of restaurants in the area, and some are open all night. In fact, there are almost 24 eateries in town, all within 1 square mile of each other. And you have to make a point of dining at one of Keyport's waterfront restaurants. What a view! And when you look out into the Raritan Bay, yes, that's New York City, and it's easily accessible by train, bus, car, or ferry. Bring your bicycles and explore the town, where you'll pedal through some very old neighborhoods with some very old and beautiful homes. Or cycle along the Henry Hudson Trail, which takes you from one town to the next along the Jersey Bayshore. You can even cycle all the way to the end of historic Sandy Hook, where you can enter the park for free if you're on a bicycle. History is so much a part of Keyport. You see it all around you all the time. This is an area which played a pivotal role during the Revolutionary War, and so there are lots of places to visit to see the past with your own eyes. There were also a significant number of steamboats which regularly came into the Keyport port, as well as boat building. In fact, there are still 2 active boat builders in Keyport today. Keyport, as you might imagine, was a significant shipping port where goods were moved from some of the local manufacturers and farmers to New York City, other parts of the Atlantic Seaport, and even internationally. One of the nation's very first seaplanes was built in Keyport by a company called Aero Marine. And while the factory was closed some time ago, you can still see some of the buildings where the planes were built. But you also have to visit the Fire Museum in Keyport, where the business of fighting fires over the centuries is brought to life. A few blocks away is the American Legion, one of the oldest in the country. Oh, there are lots of clubs and organizations in Keyport, including the Garden Club, which hosts a garden walk and home tour every year. There are parades and bonfires on the beach and, well, just lots of activities which remind you that this is a small American town with real people. The people who work, live, and play in Keyport believe their town is the best kept secret in the Jersey Bayshore. So come and discover Keyport for yourself, for the weekend or longer. It will be a vacation you won't soon forget. Keyport, the pearl of the Jersey Bayshore, is right in your backyard. Visit jerseybayshore.com or keyportonline.com to learn more. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Jersey Bayshore Country. I'm your host, John Schneider, and I mentioned in the preceding video that Keyport had a garden walk. Well, recently I had an opportunity to visit one of the gardens. Here it is, and I'd like you to see it. It's one of 35, and they hold this every year. If you get a chance to go to the garden walk, do it. Here it is.
To Keyport actually in 1981. My husband is from Ohio. I'm a New York City girl, so this was kind of, he wanted a house by the water. I didn't like grass. I didn't like mowing grass or hearing the mower, and it's not a lot of property, but there was a lot of grass. So I started getting rid of the grass slowly by planting bushes and more colorful things. That sort of thing. The pond was there all the time. It was a little pond, but it had not been occupied for a while. It was a cement pond. So we improved on that as well. We had to do it in sections. It morphed into what it is. We did not have enough knowledge or money to do anything all at once. As we lived here, and I think that's the way things should be, as you live in a home and you learn it, the feeling of it, and it kind of wraps around you, and then you kind of make decisions. doing things rashly and quickly probably would not have suited. I would have ended up changing a lot of things at the end. The front of my home, I see it as my neighborly side. It just makes for a good neighbor fun conversation, visits, people stop and that want to talk. So I wanted a friendly front. Front of the house just called me to build a porch, a sitting area, dabble in the garden a little. The back of the house, I think, is pretty obvious. It was the water. If I want to relax completely and just forget about the world, I go sit out in the back. Even though I live in town, very close to my neighbors, the fact that we have the bay straight out and I can just see, even in fall or winter when there aren't so many boats, the water's always changing, the seabirds. We have a swan that kind of, plays out there. There's geese, we see cranes, we see osprey hunting. There's no reason to come inside. I was never the gardener. I'm a city girl. My husband, who was a scientist and inventor, he mixed his own soil. They called him the Martha Stewart of gardening. He didn't just buy store-bought soil. He would add his things and make it. And he would garden. He would like to garden. And he tried to teach me. And I would stand and say, I would like color over there, or I would like this over there. And we would work. I never really dug in so much until the last few years. I joined the garden club to learn and to want to garden more. And it's helped me a great deal. Not so much to know the plants I'm planting, but it just gives me pleasure to see something grow. We transplant from here. No, that doesn't look so good there. Dig it out, move it someplace else. It's kind of like redecorating, in the house. I'm always moving things around. It just gives me pleasure to see things growing.
Well, this is Raritan Bay. Beautiful, beautiful body of water with fishing and boating and lots to do. So we'll be going from west to east towards Sandy Hook, and we're going to start right here. So here we are in Aberdeen. Aberdeen is situated in a cove, On one side is Aberdeen, on the other side is Keyport, and they can look at each other. Here we're looking at Aberdeen, and in a minute I want to show you the view from Keyport so you can see what Aberdeen looks like from Keyport. And we're going into the cove right now. That's Raritan Bay, as you can see. And there's the view of Aberdeen from Keyport. Still a view of Aberdeen from Keyport. Now, a couple of little beaches. Here's a boat we're following actually into the marina. And Aberdeen and Keyport also share a marina. Keyport on the left, Aberdeen on the right. I love these old bridges going under them. They're so interesting. This is still Aberdeen, the marina in Aberdeen. You can stop here for fuel for your boat if you like to. Love these birds. I like to play chicken with them. Okay, now we're going to go to Keyport, which means we turn around in the marina, and we're going to go back out the channel. And now Aberdeen is on my left, and Keyport is on our right. And we're going to go through that bridge, just like we did before. There's an old tavern over there. We're following this guy. And we're going to go out into the main cove. Now we're coming down to the waterfront area of Keyport, which is to your right. There's a pier that people like to go out and just look and fish, lots of fishing. And there's a restaurant there. I haven't tried it. It's called Burlou's. I think that's how you pronounce it. There's the town clock. It's beautifully landscaped there. If you haven't been to Keyport, spend a day there. Walk around, look at the old homes. There's beautiful gardens and homes and streets. There's shops to go in. It's one of the nicest downtown areas that I've seen. Somebody windsurfing here in the cove in Keyport. Those are some of the homes that red home. See it? There it is from the street side. Very interesting old home. And it has a little beach right there, which is kind of nice. Lots of sailboats in the harbor. I call it a cove, but I guess it's a harbor. Old water tower. Not sure if it's used. There's a yacht club. It's the Keyport Yacht Club. There it is. And those look like condos or apartments, but right on the water. Very nice. And you can see Staten Island across the way. And there's that old water tower. Don't know what it is. We're swinging around now. We're coming out of the cove. And it's a little wilder on the point out here. There's a lot of people camping and fishing. That's Aberdeen over there. We're actually leaving Keyport, and now that's Keyport. Finally today, I talked to Les Horner, who grew up in Keyport. He just loves it so much. The first one here is the mansion house in Keyport. Now, you've got a before and after. Let's talk about the before. What was the mansion house in Keyport?
It was basically a hotel. Years back, Broad Street in Keyport was called the Turnpike. It went up through Keyport, South Keyport, crossed Highway 35 into Hazlitt, Homedale Road as we know now, all the way up Hazlitt, Homedale Road, through Homedale, Colts Neck, and to Freehold. That was the Turnpike years back. And when the farmers came down with produce to load onto the ships in Keyport, where the dock was, they had to have a place to stay over, and that was one of them.
Well, I'm fascinated with the before and after of old photographs, and you are lucky enough to have an after shot of this photograph. Not much has changed. I mean, there's still a lot of the distinctive architectural style is still here. This porch is gone, or this railing is gone.
Right, but the building, the structure itself is basically the same.
Now, do you visit these pictures to see what's there anymore?
I haven't in a long time. In fact, I have a lot of good friends. I post my pictures, as you know, on Memories of New Jersey Facebook site.
Oh, I'm a big fan.
And one of a few of my friends that see my photos, they'll go out like this one. Another John, he lives in Hazlitt, went down there after he saw this and took the picture of it now.
Wow.
The next photo that you're going to look at, the old theater in Keyport, the movie theater. Yeah. I took that photo about 20 years ago, the now photo.
Now, what is it now? It's no longer a movie theater.
It's in the back, it's a restaurant in the back, and I really don't know what's in the front there. Now, it used to be little shops, but I don't know whether they're there.
And look, even the house to the right of the theater.
I tried to get, when I shot them, I always tried to get as close to the original picture as possible.
Right. Do you have any sense of what year this might have been taken in, or the era that this was? Was this the 40s?
You know,
So there's a streetcar, right? Or is
Yeah,
that-
well, that trolley ran through.
Trolley.
Trolley ran through Keyport, through town of Keyport.
So that'll give you a clue. Do
Yeah.
you like doing that sort of thing? Kind of looking at a picture and trying to figure it out?
I'm not a historian, like I told you once before. I'm a photo collector.
Sure.
So I don't have all of the details that I would like to have. There's some folks that know a lot more than I do about them. But I would date that to very early 1900s.
Well, you say you're not an historian, but you seem to be becoming one by default, Les.
Yeah,
Now, what's this? This is the People's National
that's one
Bank.
of the bank in Keyport. The bank is still there.
Yeah, yeah. Now, did you drive one of these cars when you were?
I wish I
kidding
had
you.
one right now, I'll tell you. They're beautiful, aren't they?
Yeah, that's nice. And then here's another Keyport shot. This looks like, is this the same trolley car
One of my
tracks?
favorites, yes. Yes, that's the train trolley tracks. They ran through Keyport on down to Union Beach.
Yeah.
And the old West Furniture building on the right-hand side of that picture.
Wow. And look, we have another shot, a better shot of the R. West and Company
Yep.
furniture. Well, now, what is oilcloth? Do you have any sense of what that is?
What you used to put on your floor.
Is that, and they sold oilcloth
Yes.
as well?
Yes.
Well, now, why did you put, now, I know you're not a historian, but why would you put oilcloth on your floor?
Well, the linoleum now, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I believe you. Yep. And look, they had, they seem to have a delivery service here.
Yes, they did.
And look at those automobiles. My goodness gracious.
Amazing.
It is amazing. A couple of ladies, mostly men.
Yeah, Robert West, I can't tell you which one is in that picture. On the other, there's one other picture of the West. I mean, we may not have it up here. I can tell you the two West brothers were in it.
Well, you know, speaking of West, it looks like a Wild West building, doesn't it? I mean, it looks like this could be something out of some Western that
Yes,
Sam Peckinpah directed.
That was their building after the original building was uptown in Keyport. And it was around 1876
right
when they moved into Keyport with that building.
We should put in a plug for people who are actually put in a plug for you. If you have some historical photographs laying around and you'd like to share them, even to either donate them or to let Les
Make
copies of them so we can share them with the world, we'd love to do that. You can contact this program or you can contact Les and we'll give information about that a little bit later. Okay, we're still in, this is Old State Highway, and this is the famous seafood restaurant called
Ye Cottage Inn in Keyport, which is no longer there after the Sandy storm.
Oh.
It weathered many a storm, but the Sandy storm, it was just too much damage, and it's just an empty lot now.
Now, was the fish sign there too, hanging on the?
Not on the
not
building
new
that
one.
just went down. No, they had removed that. I believe that the Keyport Historical Society may have that.
Mm-hmm.
I know they used to have one hanging out in the front.
Wow.
That building was lost during the Sandy storm too, the Historical Society.
Boy. You know, it's a shame because the Hurricane Sandy, there were all kinds of photographs that belonged to a lot of the historical societies along the Bayshore, and quite a few of them, their stuff was just plain lost in the storm. Isn't that sad?
Yes, yeah, a terrible shame.
Now, what's this? This
terrible
is, what town is this?
This is Keyport, and
Okay.
this is Lower Broad Street in Keyport. If you look to the far right of the photo, you'll see the steamboat dock.
Oh, I
where
see.
the farmers used to bring their produce and load them onto the steamboats to be shipped over to New York.
And the Raritan Bay is out here.
Raritan Bay is
Yeah,
out in the
yeah,
back.
yeah,
To the left of the photo would be the single system laundry.
Yeah.
What I can remember as one of these buildings here, it used to be called years ago the Bucket of Blood.
Why? Sounds pretty gruesome.
It was a rough place. One of the roughest places. in
Oh, was a
Keyport, I
bucket of
believe.
blood like a bar or something?
It was a bar.
Oh,
it was a
my
bar. Yep.
God, a bucket of blood.
But that's where I grew up, and that's where my heart still is. And if I had my way, I would move back there tomorrow.
Is your house still there that you grew up in?
That I grew up in? Yes.
Oh,
Yep, on Van Dorn Street in Keyport, across from St. John's Church.
son of a gun. And what did you enjoy about it? I mean, what do we're doing this program for folks who live in the Bayshore area, but folks who come from other parts of New Jersey and New York City. What can you tell them about this place?
Well, the only thing I can say is, it's a beautiful place to visit today as it was years back.
Yeah.
A lot of it has not changed. Towns like Keyport, and areas in Middletown, and they just really haven't changed. And you can go back and you can look and you can see these same old homes that you're seeing in this picture, like the mansion house that we looked at a little while ago.
Sure.
Still there.
Oh.
Still there after all of those years. Many changes in many cases, but still there. And it just, my heart is in this area. It's in Keyport, and it always will be.
Well, there's some terrific houses to look at as you drive through all of the neighborhoods. There's the Strauss Mansion and Museum in Atlantic Highlands, and we've done a segment on that. There's also the Spy House, which I believe is in Port Monmouth, which is, I'm not sure the technical name of the house is a different name than Spy House, but it has a history, and you can go through and take a look at that. Are you aware of any other houses where they give tours in the area?
No, other than, like back to Keyport again, where my heart is. Every year they run what they have, I think they call it a house tour.
Oh,
and
nice.
You can go and they take a tour through town to all of the old homes. There's an old home in Keyport that a friend of mine has, and I can remember him telling me about it, that there's a fireplace in every room, and every fireplace was built from brick, brought back by steamers to the Keyport dock from all over the world.
Holy mackerel.
The man's name that owns the house is Teddy Miller.
Yeah.
And I believe they call it the House of Octaves. They have different programs and things that they run there, but it's very interesting and a beautiful place to visit.
Well, will you come back and bring us more photographs from time to time?
I'd love to. Anything you ask for, I'd be glad to bring along with me.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure meeting you, and I hope people will take us up on the offer. If you have some old photographs,
get them to us.
Even if they're family photographs,
and if they're damaged.
Yeah.
I just did one of Tom's River that was almost destroyed when I got it, but right now when you look at it, it looks like a brand new picture.
My gosh.
That's the marvel of using computers today.
Terrific.
To
Well,
take
thank
an
you.
old picture and bring it back.
All right, you heard it here. Get your pictures restored. This man will do it.
We'll try.
We'll try. Thanks again, Les. This is wonderful.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
Well, that's our show, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week on Jersey Bayshore Country.